Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Stewards Planning Group. Stewards Planning Group is a company that specializes in helping you build purposeful retirement plans, custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but also their time and talent as well. They believe if you're taken care of financially, you can go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, please give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at stewardsplanning.com, or you can simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Ben Taatjes, and once again today, joined by one of our financial advisors, Jonathan Schaffner's in the studio with me. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Yeah, it's we've been talking a lot in the last few shows about some non-financial but also financial issues. Today I want to stick primarily to kind of the volatility that we're seeing in the market. We're coming off a long, extended period of very low volatility, and of course, what's talked about in the news right now and getting headlines, they're always designed to grab our attention and maybe even raise our blood pressure at times. And that, in this case, would be the war in Iran, and it's scary. And I understand that. I think people read the headlines and they look at how this is going to impact, yes, the loss of life most importantly, but also, we think about how is this going to impact me as an investor, as a retiree. And one of the things that I'm reminded of whenever I come through times like this, and I've been doing this for over 20 years and been through a lot of different market cycles and different headlines, is that the markets are designed to move up and down. Volatility is not a flaw in the system. This is part of the system. That is the way that the market works. What really we need to know is that if the problem isn't necessarily the movement in the market, the problem is how people respond to it. And it can't be coming out of a place of panic or fear, right? But more of a place out of understanding. And Jonathan, you've had conversations recently with our clients, as our other advisors have, about really giving them some certainty to say, okay, what can they expect in regards to these market movements? How big of a deal is this? And then also, how can they best react? So I'll ask you, how have these conversations been going? What's really driving the market today in this uncertainty?
Yeah, absolutely. The war definitely has driven some volatility, but corporate earnings, interest rate, inflation, employment matter far more to stock prices than these war conflicts.
Yeah, so they can be a very, certainly the triggering events, but in the background, we have so many things going on that probably carry most of the weight of how our market's going to look like. And the hard part is, you and I were talking right before jumping on the air, we don't know. We cannot tell you what's going to happen, so we have to then focus on what we can control. When you meet with clients, what's one of the most important things that you're able to give them? And certainty can come from this, right? But what's one of the most important things?
The most important thing I'm doing with clients right now is showing them their plan. I ask them, how is this affecting you? And then we can see how in the plan it's affecting your overall financial picture. And clients really feel comfortable and are more assured after we tweak their plan a little bit, and they leave without worries.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. I think that's such an important thing for our listeners to hear. If you are uncertain, and really the market uncertainty is causing you to be uncertain in your financial future, make sure you give us a call. We'd love to sit down, visit with you about your own goals, really set a plan, and educate you on how this current market environment, right, is going to affect your long-term plan and how you're stewarding the assets that you're entrusted. Education and planning are so important to our work. We can always kind of lean back on those plans and say, we planned on this. We planned on maybe not this exact event, but we planned for uncertainty. So let's focus on what we can control. What you cannot control is daily market movements. You can't control economic headlines. You can't control political events. What can you control, right? You can control your spending plan. Talked about that many times on the show. You can control the amount of diversification in your portfolio, your tax strategy, your long-term discipline in what you're doing. And that's exactly how we can help our clients. And I think that's something I know that we're really leaning into. And I've heard from you, from the other advisors, just how important the planning aspect of what we're doing is. So, when it comes to stewardship, I want to make sure people hear this really clearly. Some people said, well, stewardship is just about giving. No, stewardship is about taking care of what you're entrusted. What that means to me in this current environment is understanding what you have. Come on in, see one of our advisors, see Jonathan, see one of our advisors, so we can really review your overall financial plan. It's a time to, when the markets are noisy, you take a deep breath, zoom out, get big picture. Remember, the most valuable asset in investing right now is oftentimes discipline. If you aren't sleeping well, or you read the market headlines and they're concerning to you, step one is get some advice. Talk to somebody who has done this before, who's been in this business and has seen a lot of different market volatility circumstances, just like the one that we're in right now. So we would love to speak with you. Any of our advisors would love to spend that time educating you, first of all, like we said, and then also building out a steward's plan. Jonathan, as we kind of wrap up today's show, anything else you want to add to our listeners today?
The only thing I would say is during these uncertain times, don't make any rash decisions. Definitely reach out to your financial advisor to go over your financial plan. And that's really going to help you in the overall long run for your financial well-being.
So from all of us at Stewards Planning Group, until next time, steward well.
Ben Taatjes is a financial advisor at Stewards Planning Group. Securities offered through Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC. A registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. 1104 19th Avenue Southwest, Wilmer, Minnesota 56201. The views depicted in this material are for information purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Wealth Services, LLC nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice.